as a family, to the community that embraced us, that loved us, that went, of course, back and forth to court with us, that prayed for us. You know, and utilizing your right, your First Amendment right to speak to the very injustice that we suffer. Because we know today that had it not been for all of you, of course, Lynn, Stewart would be standing here today, and of course, the history that we made with Oscar Grant and Johannes being the first officer in the state of California to be arrested, charged, convicted, and sent to jail would not have happened had not you stood up and spoke to that injustice. So we are sincerely grateful to you for doing that. And of course, we look for you to continue to support Lynn, of course, Pam and Romona, and all those that are still locked up by this system that has really stolen many of our lives. You know, and I want to say this because I definitely always have to acknowledge the ILWU Local 10, the Longshore Reunion, for embracing the family and standing with us. Stephanie shared with you on April 3rd and 4th, Carl Dix and, of course, Cornell West made a call out, and some 90 different organizations and activists went to New York to have a discussion about a call for the month of October 2014 being a month of resistance. Yeah, we can clap on that because it's important. You know, and that call, and I'm going to share a piece of this call with you, but before you leave, please step outside and endorse this because it's so critical to continue to be, as I believe it was, Romona said, no, it was Pam that said, silence is betrayal.
That's right, that's right.
You know, we have to stand up. What happened to Johannes and you standing up was powerful. What happened with Lynn Stewart being able to come home was powerful. And so we must continue to voice that by our involvement in making things change by our solidarity and making it happen. So here, part of the call out is the malignancy of mass incarceration did not arise from a sudden epidemic of crime, nor did it result from people making poor personal choices. Instead, it arose from cold political calculation made in response to the massive and historic struggle for the rights of blacks and other minority people that took place in the 60s and the 70s, and in response to the enormous economic and social change brought about global production. You know, and I want to say I love you, Lynn, for speaking and representing our human rights. You know, during that time period, because many of us, as you know, are locked up today. That's what this is about. This goes on to say, this cancer of mass incarceration has been, from the beginning, nothing but a new Jim Crow in place of the old one. Like the old Jim Crow, it drew on, fed off, and reinforced the deep-seated roots of racism that grew up with slavery. Like the old Jim Crow, it has been, from the beginning, unjustifiable, utterly immoral, and thoroughly illegitimate.
That's right.
This must stop now. It must stop now. Not the next generation, not in 10 years, not any time off in some promised future that seems to never come, but now. It's powerful. And just hold with me for about another minute, and then we'll definitely close this out. But it will not stop unless and until millions of people of all nationalities stand up and say no more. In unmistakable terms, the history of this and every other country shows that without struggle, there can be no positive change. But with struggle, this kind of change can become possible. So please, tonight was about building solidarity. It's about addressing the issues of all our young men that are incarcerated, that are political prisoners today. It's about the young men like Oscar Grant that have been dehumanized and criminalized and seem to just be okay to be murdered in these streets. You know, we have a voice, and we can change this if we stand up. So it's my hope that you endorse this move for October 14th being a month of resistance, and that we all take a part in doing something within our communities, with our coalitions, with people that you know, about getting this word out there about the political prisoners that are locked up. Mumia, Jamal needs to be free.
That's right.
And it can happen when we unite and we speak to this and millions become aware and we make it happen. Thank you.
Okay.